Good morning students, this is Priya, your science teacher. In this video, I will explain you the chapter number 11 of NCERT textbook of class 7th, that is transportation in case of plants and animals. In this chapter, we will study about the transportation or the circulatory system in case of human beings, the components of circulatory system, that is blood vessels and heart. We will study about the structure of heart and the mechanism of blood circulation in human heart. And we will study the transportation in other organisms and in plants. At last, we will study about the excretory system of humans, other animals, and in case of plants, how the excretion is done. So this is a very interesting chapter. Let us start the chapter with the circulatory system of human beings. So as we studied in the chapter number 10 that oxygen is essential for the survival and the breakdown of the food in the cells of an organism. All organisms, they need food, water and oxygen for the survival. So how do these materials or these molecules, they are transported to all the various parts of the body. Further, the animals also, they need to transport the waste material to the parts from where they can be removed. So the heart and the blood vessels or the blood, they function to transport substances and together form the circulatory system. So the circulatory system in case of human beings, it consists of three components, that is blood vessels and human heart. All these three components, they are interconnected with each other to form the circulatory system of human beings. As you all know, firstly we will study about the blood. As you all know that blood is the fluid which flow in the blood vessels. Blood vessels, they are generally vein or the arteries. The blood transports the substances like the digested food from the small intestine to the other parts of the body. It also carries the oxygen with the hemoglobin from the lungs to the cells of the body, and it also transports the waste for the removal from the body. So it is a very essential connective tissue which are present in our body. Next we will understand the composition of blood. Blood is a liquid in nature which has cells, various kinds of cells which are suspended in. The fluid part of the blood is known as plasma. The blood contains the red blood cells, white blood cells and the platelets. So the composition of the blood is the plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells and the platelets. The red blood cells, they contain a red pigment called the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, it binds with the oxygen in the blood and transport the oxygen to the various parts of the body and ultimately to each and every cell of our body. It will be very difficult to our body to provide oxygen efficiently to all the cells of the body without the presence of hemoglobin. Also, the presence of hemoglobin, it makes the blood appear red in color. The next are the white blood cells. White blood cells, they are generally the type of cells which fight against the germs or the foreign material, the virus or bacteria that may enter in our body. So ultimately, white blood cells, they provide immunity to our body. The last are the platelets. These are the type of cells which helps in blood clotting. So the clot is formed because of the presence of the platelets in case of an injury or in case of blood flow. The next is question is that how the blood flows in our body. The blood, it flows in our body with the help of the blood vessels which are present in our body. You all know that during the inhalation, a fresh supply of oxygen fills the lung and oxygen has to be transported to the rest of the body. Also, the blood picks up the waste from the materials including carbon dioxide and other gases, water droplets, etc. from the cells. This blood has to go back to the heart for the transport to the lungs for the removal of carbon dioxide so that it can be purified. So blood vessels, they are mainly of two types, arteries and veins. There are two types of blood vessels that are present in our body, that is arteries and veins. What is the difference between the arteries and veins? Arteries, they generally carries the pure blood or the oxygenated blood, except the pulmonary artery that is present in our heart. And veins, they generally carry the deoxygenated or the impure blood, except the pulmonary vein which is present in our heart. So let us study about the difference between the arteries and veins. The arteries, they generally carry the oxygen rich blood from heart to all the parts of the body. The pure blood, it reaches to the all the cells, each and every cell and all the parts of the body from the heart with the help of the arteries. Since the blood flow is very rapid and high pressure in case of arteries, so arteries generally have thick elastic walls. You can perform an activity to study the flow of blood through the arteries. Place the middle and index finger of your right hand on the either side of your left wrist. Can you feel some throbbing movements? Why do you think there is throbbing? This throbbing is known as the pulse, which generally occurs in case of arteries, and it is due to the blood flow in case of arteries. Count the number of pulse beats in 1 minute. So number of beats per minute is called the pulse rate of a particular person. A resting person may have usually a pulse rate between 72 to 80 beats per minute, whereas a person who is walking or who is running generally have. Next is the veins. Veins, these are the vessels which carry the carbon dioxide rich blood generally, or the impure blood. It transfers the carbon dioxide rich blood from all the parts of the body to the heart for the further purification. The veins, they generally carry the impure blood, so they have the thin walls. There are walls which are present in the veins. These are the walls which are present in the veins, which allowed the blood flow towards the heart. So let us understand the circulation, about the blood circulation, a schematic blood circulation which occurs in the arteries, capillaries and veins. Generally, the heart, it pumps the pure blood towards the body parts through the arteries. This pure blood, it reaches the tissues and each and every cell with the help of the capillaries. ठीक है, जब आर्टरीज जो है हमारी बॉडी ऑर्गन्स तक पहुंच जाती है, टिश्यूज तक पहुंच जाती है, तो वो फर्दर थिन ट्यूब्स में डिवाइड हो जाती है, दैट आर नोन एज कैपिलरीज. कैपिलरीज, दे आर वेरी क्लोज टू द सेल्स ऑफ आवर बॉडी. हमारे बॉडी सेल्स के बहुत क्लोज होती हैं ये. तो थ्रू द कैपिलरीज द प्योर ब्लड इट ट्रांसफर्स टू द सेल्स एंड द इम्प्योर ब्लड इट ट्रांसफर्स बैक टू द कैपिलरीज. सो कैपिलरीज दे जनरली join up to form the veins which empty into the heart. So the impure blood carries from the vein and it ultimately reaches to the heart. So this is generally the schematic circulation in case of blood vessels. Next is the heart. It is the very important part of our body. It is an organ which continuously works and acts as a pump for the transport of blood in various organs of our body. Next is the location of the heart. The heart is generally situated in the chest cavity with its lower tip. The lower tip of the heart is slightly tilted towards the left. That's why we felt our heartbeat towards the left side. Generally, the heart is located in the middle of the chest, but the left part of the heart is generally slightly tilted towards the left. You can feel your heartbeat by placing your hand on your chest. The next is the structure of the human heart. This is basically the structure of the human heart. The human heart, it contains the two upper chambers that are known as atrium or the atria, the two lower chambers that are known as ventricles, and the partition between the chambers that is known as septum. Which is to avoid the mixing of the blood rich in oxygen and the blood rich in carbon dioxide. The vena, next is the vena cava. It transfers the impure blood to the heart. It collects the impure blood from all the organs of our body and bring back it to the heart. Aorta, it transfers the pure blood from the left ventricle to all the body parts that are present in our body, or and it transfers the impure blood to each and every cell of our body. Next, let us understand the blood circulation in human heart and to the lungs. सबसे पहले जो इम्प्योर ब्लड है हमारे बॉडी ऑर्गन से, हमारे बॉडी सेल से वीना केवा के थ्रू, वीना केवा दो तरह की होती है, सुपीरियर वीना केवा एंड इन्फीरियर वीना केवा। तो इन्फीरियर वीना केवा के थ्रू हमारा जो इम्प्योर ब्लड है वो पहुंचता है हमारे राइट एट्रियम में। राइट एट्रियम में इम्प्योर ब्लड राइट एट्रियम से जाता है राइट वेंट्रिकल से, राइट वेंट्रिकल में। राइट वेंट्रिकल से ये इम्प्योर ब्लड विद द हेल्प ऑफ पल्मोनरी आर्टरी इट गोज टू द लंग्स. So this impure blood, it goes to the lungs for the purification, so that the carbon dioxide it removes out from the blood and the oxygen it is collected in the blood. The pure blood it comes back to the heart through the pulmonary vein. Through the pulmonary vein, this blood enters into the left atrium and then further it enters into the left ventricle. इस left ventricle से जो हमारा pure blood है वो aorta के through हमारे पूरे body organs में ट्रांसफर होता है. So this is basically the blood circulation in case of human beings. I hope you have understood it very well. Next is the heartbeat. Heartbeat, it is generally a pulse rate or the number of beats per minute of a particular person is known as heartbeat. The doctor they uses the stethoscope, a device which is used to amplify the sound of the heart. It consists of the chest piece that carries a sensitive diaphragm, two earpieces and a tube joining the parts. Doctors can get clues about the condition of your heart by listening through the stethoscope. You can make your own stethoscope at your home with the help of this very simple activity. You can perform this activity at your home. You can write down the heartbeat of a person while at rest and after running, and you can compare this data. With the help of this activity, you can find the relationship between the heartbeat and the pulse rate. Each heartbeat it generates one pulse in the arteries, and the pulse rate per minute it indicates the rate of heartbeat. So the rhythmic beating of the various chambers of the heart it maintains the circulation of blood and transport of substances to the different parts of the body. This is the human circulatory system. What about the other animals? The animals like sponges and hydra, which are the single cellular organism, they do not possess any circulatory system. The water in which they live, they brings food and oxygen as it enters their body, and the water carries away the waste materials and carbon dioxide as it moves out. Thus these animals they do not need a circulatory fluid like the next is the William Harvey. This is the scientist which discovered the circulation of blood. So this is the circulatory system basically. Next we will study about the excretion in animals. Recall how the carbon dioxide is removed as a waste from the body through the lungs during the exhalation. Also the undigested food that present in our body, it is removed during the egestion. So when our cells perform their function, certain waste products they are released inside our cells. These are toxic and hence they need to be removed from the body. The process of removal of waste produced in the cells of the living organism is known as excretion. Excretion in case of human beings, it forms the parts that are involved in the excretion are called excretory system. The excretory system of human beings, it generally consists of one pair of kidneys, a ureter, a urinary bladder, and finally the urethra. The waste which is present in the blood has to be removed from the body. So a mechanism is needed to filter the blood is required. This is done by the blood capillaries which is present in the kidneys. So let us understand the structure of the human excretory system. The human excretory system, it basically consists of one pair of kidney, one pair of ureters, urinary bladder which stores the urine, and the urethra and the urinary opening through which the urine is passed out. So when the blood reaches the two kidneys through the renal artery, it contains both useful and harmful substances. The useful substances are absorbed back into the blood. The waste dissolved in water are removed as the urine. From the kidneys, this urine it transfers into the tube-like structure which are known as ureters. It is stored in the bladder for some time and it is passed out through the urinary opening at the end of the muscular tube called the urethra. The kidneys, ureters, bladder and urethra, they form the excretory system in case of human beings. And adult human beings, it normally pass about 1.8 liter of urine in 24 hours. The human urine, it consists of 95% of water, 2.5% of urea and 2.5% of other toxic waste. Also, we excrete many toxic substances with the help of sweat. The sweat, it contains generally water and salts. So, we know that the water kept in an earthen pot or the matka is cooler. So, the sweat, it helps to keeps us cool through the water evaporation, same as in case of the earthen pot. Next is the dialysis. Dialysis is a process of the blood purification in case of the patients having a kidney injury. Sometimes a person kidneys may stop working due to infection of injury. So as a result of kidney failure, waste products start accumulating in the blood. Such persons, they cannot survive unless their blood is filtered periodically through an artificial kidney. This whole mechanism of blood purification is known as dialysis. So this is the excretion in case of human beings. In other organisms like fishes, birds and snakes, these organisms, they generally excrete out a different product as in the human beings. For example, aquatic animals like fishes, they excrete cell waste as ammonia because ammonia requires large amount of water for its excretion. Some land animals like birds, lizards, snakes, they excrete a semi-solid or white colored compound known as uric acid, and we the humans, we excrete the product known as urea. So this is the excretory system in case of humans. Next we will study the transportation and excretion in case of plants. In case of plants, they take up water and mineral nutrients from the soil through the roots and transport it to the leaves. And also the leaves, they generally prepare the food with the process of photosynthesis. So this food need to be transported to each and every cell of the plant. So plant need a vascular system to transport the water, minerals and solutes. The transport of water and minerals in case of plants, it takes place through a vascular tissue known as xylem. Xylem is a pipe-like vessels which transport the water from the roots to the various organs of the plant. And the plants, they generally absorb water and minerals by the roots. The roots have the root hair. The function of root hair is to increase the surface area for absorption of water and minerals dissolved in the water. The root hair, they are in direct contact with the water present between the soil particles. So these root hair, they absorb the water and minerals and transport it to various organs of the plant. The xylem, which is the vascular tissue for the transport of water and minerals in plants, it forms a continuous network of channels that connect the root to the leaves through the stem and branches and thus transport the water to the entire plant. As you all know, the tissue, it is a group of cells that perform the similar function. So xylem and phloem, these are the vascular tissue present in plants. Phloem, it is a vascular tissue which locates or transports the food from the leaf to the other various organs of the plants. You can understand the transportation of water through these cells with the help of a very simple activity. Like you can see in the diagram, take a large potato and peel off its outer skin. Cut one of its end to make the base flat. Now make a deep and hollow cavity inside the potato and fill half of the cavity with the sugar solution. And mark the level by inserting the pin in the potato. Finally, put the potato into a dish that contains a small amount of water. Make sure that the level of the water is below the level of the pin. Allow the apparatus to stand for few hours. After few hours, you will observe that increase in the sugar solution inside the water because of the xylem vessels, same as in the case of plants, that the water can move from one cell to another in the same way in the xylem vessels in case of plants. So this is generally the excretory system or the transport system in case of plants. The last phenomena that we will study is the transpiration. As you all know that plants, they release a lot of water by the process of transpiration. So the plant, they absorb water generally from the soil. Not all the water is absorbed is utilized by the plant. The water, it evaporates through the stomata present on the surface of the leaves in the presence of sunlight. This process is known as transpiration. This process, it generally creates a suction pull, which is very much necessary for the transport of water in case of plants. Also, transpiration, it cools the plant, as in the case of sweat production in human beings. So this is the chapter number 11, that is transportation. I hope you have understood it very well. Thank you.